All right. Um, Thanks so much again for joining this quick bite. Today we are going to talk about the visual syllabus, and if you have questions or thoughts along the way, I'd love to hear them. Pop them in the chat. It might take me a second to see them, just because it's just me right now. But we're going to go ahead and get started. So our goal today is to define what a visual syllabus is, why it matters, and how it might be beneficial to students, and to apply it by exploring some William and Mary created examples and giving you a few tools or ideas for structuring your own visual syllabus. And I'm sure that this seems a little crazy to think about on December 6th, as we are about to enter finals and you are just trying to wrap up the courses that you're teaching this semester. But I want to acknowledge and I appreciate you guys giving some time to Steely today to think about next semester, or potentially courses that you're teaching over the summer and in the fall. So, all right. So, as intentional instructors, trying to provide the most relevant and helpful information to students, course syllabi have gotten really, really long. I know that I'm preaching to the choir here, and I know that you guys know this. And it's because they have to do so many different things, right? There is this idea of the syllabus as a contract where you have to include all of your courses' specific requirements and policies. There is so much university mandated language. There are all of the resources that you as thoughtful and caring instructors want to provide to your students. And then we want a syllabus to function as a learning tool with learning objectives and major assessments and course schedules. And as a first impression of you as an instructor with information about who you are and your area of expertise and your office hours and ways to get in contact with you. And all of these channels are kind of competing for a student's attention. And I feel like it's not uncommon to have a syllabus that's 10 to 15 pages long, which is, single spaced. So much information. So students have trouble digesting this information and figuring out what's important. And then they have a really hard time often using a syllabus as a learning tool throughout the semester because they have to kind of dig or parse things out. So they're overwhelmed. Maybe they read it thoroughly once, we can hope, or maybe they don't, and they're only kind of hitting the high level points or skimming it for, information. So the real question here is, how can you create a document that answers student questions, provides some guidance and essential information, but isn't 15 pages long? And this is where the visual syllabus can come into play. It is a way to quickly locate and easily use the most important information that you as the instructor decide on for your course. It is also a way for you to get ahead or preempt a barrage of questions. One of the articles I was reading to prep for this quick bite was like, it's in a syllabus. Like, I wish I had a hashtag I could just respond to student emails that's like, it's in a syllabus, it's in a syllabus, it's in the syllabus. So a way to get ahead of a million emails that you're getting from students asking the same questions that you have already thoughtfully planned for in your syllabus. And it's a way to present information in a way that is visually appealing, easy to navigate, and hopefully easier to understand. So Linda Nielsen is like the first person affiliated or attributed with the visual syllabus, this idea from 2002. And she says, in its simplest form, a graphic syllabus, which is the terms are kind of used interchangeably, is a flow chart, a diagram, a graphic organizer of topical course information. And it's typically one pages included in addition to a regular text-based syllabus. So essentially, her whole point is it's a way for students to understand your course and its structure. And her argument is that this graphic representation of the most important points of a larger syllabus conveys connection between course materials and structure and can spark student engagement, which is really in line with what we know about students, especially first-generation college students who are not necessarily attuned, young students, freshmen, to how to navigate a syllabus or that hidden language of academia. And so it gives students an opportunity to engage with content in a different mode, which is in line with like universal design for learning best practices. So a little more about why a visual syllabus matters. It, according to the research, creates a really positive first impression of you as an instructor. So I think I read 4 different studies that talked about how students, when they received a visual syllabus, felt like the instructor was kind, creative, approachable, flexible, friendly, just from this one piece of paper or this one document that you shared. Further studies show that it really clarifies course information and even increases student retention. They're more likely to remember specific things that you want them to know about your course. And it makes that convoluted, sometimes opaque structure of what your class is going to be like clearer. And I think most importantly is that students like it. There was a study done in 2021 across 3 course levels using the same, templated syllabus. It was in a 100 level class, a 300 level class, and a 400 level class in a variety of disciplines. And all of the students preferred this mode to just a traditional paper syllabus. And they reported feeling less anxious about the course itself from the syllabus, right? It's not as daunting as receiving the 15-page document if you get like a 1-pager that's giving you the highlights and the overview, and less anxious about the requirements. So all some reasons to consider including a visual syllabus. So what do they look like? They can take a variety of forms. And I'm just going to really quickly show you a couple of examples. And then we're going to deep dive into 2 William and Mary instructor created examples. So it might be a newsletter. You might use a template. There are templates for newsletters in Canva and in Word, where you are breaking down, the most important information for your course. It might take the form of an infographic. Again, where you're using visuals and text and charts and graphs to highlight what you feel like are the key features. And I'm going to give you some of the things that you should consider when creating one. This one, I'm going to see if this will play nice. Okay, let me see if I shared the right thing. Oh, we did. Okay, cool. It might take the form of like a flow chart. This is Principles of Economics, and it's an online version that actually allows you to hover over and find more information. So this is a concept map charting how the course is structured and what it looks like. Or it might take a different form altogether, like the one that you see on the right here, which is just a little more visual and using different charts, graphs. This is more like a reference guide. So kind of 4 different things to consider, 4 different structures. All right, so today, I have a question in the chat. Yeah, I'll share you the slides after this presentation, and it has the links. And I'm also going to drop in the chat right now. I'm going to unshare because I won't be able to do this correctly otherwise. I'm going to drop in the chat the 2 William and Mary created examples that we're going to look at. And I'm hoping they'll work for everybody, but I'm going to also screen share, and I will share all of this in the presentation notes after. Okay. Oh, Pablo, you're in. Okay, I didn't know. All right. So the 2 that we're going to look at today, the first one is from Dr. Donna Lashley. She's the associate teaching professor from chemistry, and she wrote actually a blog post for Steely on the visual syllabus. And so this is her visual syllabus, and I'm going to zoom in a little more and highlight some specific features for you guys. So this did not take the place of her traditional syllabus. She still gave students a syllabus with all of the university policies, resources, the contractual information, but this was in addition to it. And she, I'll also share out the blog post, had really positive responses from students. So a couple of things that I want to highlight. Right up front, she includes office hours, ways to get in contact, the building number, the room number, the course, when it's taking place, what room it's in, not just for her, but also for the TA, which I think is really important. So she's providing this like quick reference guide for students so they can figure out who to contact when they need help. A couple of other things. She includes important information about exams. So a large portion of her class, 50%, it's like right here, of her course is from midterms. And she even tells students up front, the lowest one's going to get dropped. So alleviating a little bit of student anxiety before they even get into the course. Help sessions and exams. She gives information about the room number, the time, right up front. I imagine she preempted a lot of questions about, hey, I need help with XYZ, or I would like to review my exam, or I need a review session. So putting that right up front so students can go ahead and put it in their calendars before, the semester even gets started. I love that she provided these tips and tricks about practice problems, how to do them, when to do them, how much time, so students can begin to consider how they should plan to maximize their time for the course, and extra credit. So right here with these little fireworks. The graph is also a really helpful way to identify how students are going to be graded. So they really can conceptualize, okay, those midterms, if she's only keeping 2 of them, like really, really matter. Like I need to, prep and be prepared for those midterms. And again, the response that she got from students was just that they found this to be very useful. And if they had questions, this is a document that they returned to again and again. So that is one of the William & Mary created examples. Any questions or thoughts that you guys have about this? Love to see them in the chat. She used PowerPoint. So this was not like, you do not have to be a design expert to create a visual syllabus. All the icons, all of the charts and graphs, it all came from PowerPoint.
Briar, can I ask,
Yeah.
Since we have several faculty members here, just on average, how long would you say your last few syllabi have been? And maybe you can put that in the chat. And what's your sense of how many of your students are actually looking at the syllabi in depth? Just to get an idea, because I think that those are the 2 main things that this addresses. Our syllabi have historically been growing and growing and growing, which means that there's a lot of info there. But I think anecdotally, we hear that students just don't look at them.
Yeah, we touched on that, I think, when you weren't quite in yet, Pablo, too, about how the average length is so long. We pulled together just a list of Steely for our College Teaching Essentials course of university mandated language, and it was like 8 pages. Resources in university mandated language alone was 8 pages. So that's crazy. All right, I'm going to share the other one. So the next syllabus that we're going to look at comes from Dr. Kathy Forstall, and this was for a developmental psychology class that she taught in the fall of 21. And I think I actually have an updated version that she did in 22. So a couple of key features, they don't look the same. And I saw the question in the chat about, did the instructor prepare a normal syllabus with it? Yes. So this was like a supplementary document. So in some of the research studies, the visual or graphic syllabus has taken the place of a traditional syllabus. And I'll touch a little more on that when we look at kind of the parts of a visual syllabus. But in the case of both of the William & Mary instructors who used these, who created and used them, this was in addition to. So they had their normal syllabus, and they created these in addition to it. So this one begins with a course description. So this could come from the course catalog, could come directly from your syllabus. She wrote it in pretty student-friendly language. You will learn about typical. So like outlining right away, here are the things that you're going to get out of this course. She included the high-level course level learning objectives. Again, the contact information is like right up front. She also included major questions that the students would grapple with. These are things that to be thinking about. And this is one of the ways that you can promote student engagement, by asking those big high-level questions, getting students thinking. The required textbook, let me clear my annotations. Again, there is a chart demonstrating the grade breakdown because this class is all about developmental psychology. It's just lots of pictures of babies and babies moving into small children, um, and showing students. Okay, we're going to start with baby. With I'm struggling. Megan, help me. We're going to start with babies in the womb, right? I should know this. I'm pregnant right
In
now. I don't know
utero.
why I'm struggling.
We
Of
say
all the people.
prenatal development.
Prenatal. Thank you. I'm like, I'm
You're
literally
welcome.
pregnant right now. Why am I having trouble with this?
Because you're pregnant and you have baby brains. Okay, you're human.
Yes, it's real life. And then babies moving to toddlers, into 4 and 5-year-olds to elementary school age children, and exploring kind of the 3 domains. So giving that graphic of what the course content will cover. She takes a stronger deep dive into how students will be evaluated. Again, this one, like Dr. Lashley's, also has probably the most important questions that she gets asked. What happens if I miss class? What if I need accommodations? So right away, students know, okay, if I miss class, maybe they are feeling a little like they have a cough or they're a little overwhelmed and they're like, ooh, is this a class I can miss? Or is this a class I need to attend? They can, instead of parsing through the 15-page document, go right to this like quick sheet to take a look. And she also included a color-coded schedule for students of important dates. So just an outline of when class was going to occur and major due dates. So students don't have to look on Blackboard or look in the syllabus that they might have printed out, probably not on Blackboard. So those are 2 William and Mary created examples. And I got to delete my annotations now. There we go. Okay. So what should you include if you're considering using a visual syllabus? You should think about graphics. Graphics are visually appealing. Our students are looking at more and more graphics every day. They're all attached to their smartphones. They're bombarded by pretty advertising from the internet. But think of graphics in this context as a way to support students. So you might include a diagram or a flow chart. You might include a visual metaphor, but match the graphic with the type of information that you're trying to convey. Using visuals to draw attention to what matters most to you. What do you think students need to know? Like if they need to reference your document, what are the key takeaways? Keep it simple. So the goal is not to have this beautifully designed, visual that is just like really pretty. The goal is to provide students with a big picture and help them see the forest through the trees. So key information to include. And also think about what not to include. So maybe you put contractual information online and you hyperlink the document and you provide this to them electronically, or you include supplementary documents. There's nothing that says that the syllabus has to be one document. It could be 3 different documents, right? You might have your visual syllabus, that's the quick reference. You might have university policies, and you might have your specific course information. And it's all connected, but students can get to it in an efficient and easy to navigate manner instead of scrolling through eternity on Blackboard or flipping through pages. Think about foregrounding what is essential. So these are the, instructor information, course information, maybe objectives and outcomes, a schedule, even if it's a short schedule where you have those due dates, the major due dates highlighted for students so that they can use it as a quick reference guide. Any major assignments or projects that you want to draw attention to. Again, you can hyperlink this if you're giving it to students digitally. And we know that students refer to this, your syllabus digitally more than they print it out and highlight it like I did when I was in college many moons ago. Anticipate any pitfalls or areas of confusion by having an FAQ, whatever that looks like to you. So what are the questions that you get asked the most every semester? Anticipate those, answer them in advance in this document, and then you won't get those emails. A couple of tips and tricks. Canva and Microsoft Word have great templates. I'm going to share one or two other tech tools that you could use to create one. And don't forget to check your graphics and your visual syllabus or graphic syllabus for accessibility. So think about contrast, think about readability, font sizes, providing this in multiple formats to students. So digitally, maybe, and in print. Will this look okay if it's in grayscale and not just in color? So just some accessibility concerns.
Alt image tags, I would add.
Yes, if you're providing digitally, for sure.
Yeah.
And so here are 3 tech tools that are really easy to use that you could potentially use to create your visual syllabus. Canva is my personal favorite. Canva makes instructional designers out of all of us. It has tons of icons. It has templates. If you want to use an infograph or a newsletter, you can type that in and it spits you a template out. So you're not starting from scratch. PowerPoint and Word or Google Slides and Google Docs work just fine also. Like they're fine. They do the job. And you can type in, especially in Word and PowerPoint, newsletter, and it'll format it so it's 2 columns. There has the picture at the top. And then PictoChart is a program online created specifically if you're thinking about doing an infograph as a syllabus. So those are just 3. There's a myriad of tech tools, but those are just 3. Are there any questions that I can answer today about the visual syllabus, or you have any thoughts? I'm going to share the, Pablo, can you drop the survey in the chat? There's a QR code. Pablo's going to drop the survey in the chat. Yeah.